Hey people, I'm gonna make a short here, and I'm gonna read you an ancient line in ancient English poetry, and I'm gonna show you how to read it that beyond a doubt proves that there was an ancient nuclear war. Gary says that one of the very best ways to learn is to teach, and it's right up there with do, and it might even be ahead of doing. But yeah, I learn a lot while I'm trying to make these movies to teach, and then even after I get the movie made, you know, I watch it several times while cutting and making, many times to do all the cutting. And even after I get it done and loaded, I go back and I watch it on YouTube to make sure, number one, that they download it right. Because when I first started doing this years ago, sometimes my movies would be messed up, and I know they were good when I loaded them. I'd have to load them again. So people have been brainwashed to believe this is Hebrew, and it's not. And I challenge any rabbi, I call them all up who challenge me. They can't read it, and I'm going to show y'all how to read it. And it's ancient English. It's this old ancient Aryan alphabet, but it's still the same letters we use today. But it's the ancient language where every letter has a meaning. And so you can define the word by the letters in it. So the word Hebrew means the brew, and it's the brewers, and it's alchemist. And so the only difference between this and ancient English is the alchemy and the punctuation. And so there's just two different punctuations we're going to see in here. And one of them is this tack here. And it tells you to read the next word backwards and forwards, and that's how they got this 100. It's trois from ought. Trois, on deux, trois. 3 from ought. Ought, look it up, it's the smallest part of iota. Iota is the old Greek I. The smallest part is a little dot. It means the decimal. 3 places from ought in the hundreds column. And that's where they get that. So every time you see this word, it doesn't mean 100. Only when it comes after this tack, it is a trois from ought. The other punctuation in this line is this A here. And it's the God letter, same as in Egypt. You don't read God's face first. When you see it, you turn around and read that word backwards. So it's not Alpym, and it's Mypla. And the third thing to know is when this M is on the end, it's going to read as an M this way. And this is what this final M means. This is also an M here. But this means, you know, when you read it this way, it's on the beginning. It means M, my. You read it my plow. But if you're reading a word in the other direction, it has that M on the S. It's pronounced as S when it's on the end. And that's why they'll say the word is plural when a word ends with this final M. So I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you how to read every word by the letters inside of it. But you're going to recognize them from English. And so this is what they emits half life its ages box in. From cipher it's on souls trois from ought. Plauses less is plauses in it. My plaw comes from ought. And so the E means life, and it also means thee. You don't have to take my word for it. You can pull up most any of these, they call them ancient Phoenician letter meanings, ancient letter meaning charts, ancient Hebrew letter meaning chart, and it'll give you all the meanings, you know, up to here. And you know, the E means the. You can replace with E, and the Vav means and it means, you know, to connect something together with a nail or a hook. I'm not going to come back here. You can look this up anywhere. You can pull it up on the internet. And there's a couple things that's missed, but the ancient X meant a plant, and they'll leave that out. And the Q meant the center. So this is what they, WHATTHEY. You know, so Vav is the connected, and the T means the seal, the writings. And so if you ask, what is that? Well, that's a helicopter. It's connected seal is a helicopter. Its connected seal is a wasp. Its connected seal is a plant. Its connected seal is a loaf. And so that means what? W, connected seal. And so what they, the E is THE, and then the Y. What they emits. And this is this word, those who have gone out, this is where that belongs. This half belongs over here, HLQ, to divide of center. You take a loaf of bread and you divide it center, and we each get half, HLQ, H, divide of center. And so emits is the life from divide, plant life. The waters, E, the M is waters, them, divide, H is the wall, it means divide, X is plant life. Plant life means this is living, a planet, anything that's moving is living. And so what emits, what comes out of those that have gone out, and they do this all through the Bible, they'll put the wrong definition of word because they never wanted you to know about what we're fixing to read here. But what they emits, half, and the E is life. They didn't fit, but the half life it, the X is also the Tzadi, the TZ or the TS. The half life it's ITS, AJS, ages. And this is ages, as in you get older, what you do, the knowledge make from. A, knowledge, I, make, M is from. Knowledge make from. Well, that's what happens when you get older. In the ages, you get smarter. What they emits, the half-life, it's ages. Half-life, it's ages. Boxing, B-O-B-X, and then B doesn't have the dot in there, so it'd be pronounced as a V, the box of, or the box in. And so usually when they say war, they says it's the word for war is from alchemy. And that's what alchemy was all about, was creating the poisons and bombs to war. Like drug companies creating vaccines that actually have the microbes in it to help brainwash the people. But what they emits, half-life, its ages, boxing. The boxing comes from when you died in war, you coming out in a box. Those who had gone out, the boxing. The word for bones. If you didn't live through the war, you came out in a box somewhat too. B-O-X-M-U-T. Moot, as they say, is the word for dead. It's moot, you don't talk no more. The box from what to? Box from what to? His dead bones. And so there's no O in this box, it's just B, X, B, or V. And so it's the box of, but it's in crossing. During the crossing, when you're crossing over to the other side, what they emits half-life, its ages in crossing. From cipher, from the secrets, M, from S, secrets, P, open, R, first. In order to cipher this here number, you have to, the secrets open first. And that was that word that's on the beginning of all the chapters in the Hebrew that you don't have anymore. The cipher, the tort, Connie's, the secrets to open first. You have to know the secret word. in order to cipher it. So I did a movie yesterday, that one that was on the front here, that talks all about the different meanings they give for cipher. But the numbers, the words, the letters, and from the cipher, you got to know the cipher to know what all the letters and numbers mean. In crossing from cipher, the exon, the sheep, they say that is here, the exon, symbol for the exon, the sheep with the X on him. From cipher, the exon souls. And so this word cipher is also where you got your word sift, to sift out. You just want the big ones. Well, here, you're sifting out. You just want from the cipher of the exon souls. This on here, an, is the word for heavens. You can see here on the sky, a high one, the sky god. In cross of from cipher, the X on souls. And so the cross on souls, the souls is to consume of fire. When you become fire, you're no longer a living earth being. You become fire. The cross heavens, to consume of fire. Twa from ought. So this doesn't mean 300, this means hundreds. Twa from out, in the hundreds column. Twa, on, do, twa. Twa from ought, 3 places from the decimal. From cipher, the exon, the cross on, souls, hundreds, plaws, lesses, Plaws, lesses, plaws, lesses, plaws in at. And so we're going to look this one word up, and it's going to show you where all 3 of these come from. This word plaw, P-L-A-W, P-L-A-V-A-V, W-U or V, however you want to see it, P-L-A-W, is where your word play comes from. It means to move about quickly. And that comes from boil. When you start boiling it, it starts moving quicker. Boiling, plaw. And this is where your word applause come from. When a king walks in, you start to applaud. You better start moving, making some noise. Let's hear it for the king. The act of applauding, approbation, of praise, publicly expressed by clapping the hands, stamping or tapping of the feet. You better get busy. Approval or praise expressed by clapping. And so where this letter meaning definition comes in, they're taking it way back to the 6th century BC. Now, even before that, because when this Bible was written, it was the law. Athens made it so that audiences would have to clap in approval of their leaders. Since there were too many people to meet individually, through this came the applause of unified voices of all these people in the form of clapping together in admiration. It was a law that they would have to clap in approval of their leader. From cipher, the exon souls, hundreds, plauselesses. To open, P is to open of power. Use, the open of power. When the king walks in, when the power, open of power use. When a king walks in, everybody must applause. And so hundreds, applause, less is. Oh, there's a hundreds less applauding, there less is. Of L of S shin, consume, work from. And if somebody's consuming the works from, that means you're having less of. The king's taxes are consuming your work, of consume, work from. So the plauseless is plause in at. There are hundreds less plausing where the plausing is supposed to be in at. From cipher the exon souls, hundreds plauselesses plause in at. My, or the plause in at C, if you want to read it to S-S-E, but it's from works, to C, or my claw, my boil comes from ought. And so ought also means like something you really ought to do. And so this is my plaw. And so this comes here is where your word chemist comes from and all that. And it's to divide from fire. Chemist comes to divide from fire from ought. My boil divide from fire from ought. It's making me pretty hot. What they emits half-life, its ages. Nuclear bombs, they have a half-life. Its ages. It takes forever for it to go away. What they emits half-life, its ages, in crossing from cipher the exon souls, the mark on the souls, the cross on souls. And so this cross on of Jesus has been going on way back before they tell us the time of Jesus. It's in the beginning of the Bible it starts talking about this. Jesus was not the time of Pisces. Jesus, the time of the new king. I showed in other movies where, Jesus is the house of God, what it means. And I showed some of that in that movie yesterday. But the cross on souls, hundreds plauseless is plausing in at. Where they're supposed to be at plausing, there's hundreds less applauding. And my boil comes from ought. I'm getting hot. I'm boiling. So I'm going to drop this in that folder where I've been reading in Joshua 15. It's kind of what led me to this. And I'll try to leave a little tag up there every time I mention a movie. I'll try to figure out which movie it's in and leave a tag there. And I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.